Hello, hello, hello. Let me make sure I sound okay. Seems like it. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. This is the beautiful high performance group HPG. It's really an Airbus H145. This is the luxury variant. And it's only fitting if we're going to fly to Monaco, which is where we're going to fly first. We're currently situated just outside Cannes in France. Let's turn off some of these things. We don't need to see all these things. We're sitting right there at the Bay of Cannes. And we're just going to fly up the coastline. No real flight plan. Probably just do a straight shot up to Monaco, which is, where are we? That's too far. Somewhere down here. I really would love to make the Twitch chat larger because I'm just going to leave it on this screen over here. So, alright, let's go get into the helicopter. I haven't flown it in a while, but I did spend a little bit of time at lunch earlier trying to make sure that I could turn it on, which is a, believe it or not, critical part of flying, is being able to turn on the thing you're going to fly. And beyond that, I played around a little bit with how the autopilot works, just because, not because we really need to put it in autopilot much, but you know, last time I flew this helicopter, it's not always the easiest to fly. Helicopters in some ways are more complicated than planes, because obviously they've got a variety of different ways that you can crash them. Let's put it that way. And by autopilot, I don't so much mean it's going to fly us where we want, but it's going to keep us level. Or we're going to put in a nice hover and just adjust ourselves back and forth with what's called trim beep trim. There's a couple different types. So let's get inside the chopper, shall we? First of all, I guess we could have a look around. This airport is nothing spectacular. The scenery is quite nice. I like the scenery outside the airport. The airport itself is not bad. Nice thing about helicopters, we don't really need a runway. We can just take off from where we are. We're just going to make sure that we don't get too far behind us, because there's obviously a building there. And we want to try to avoid that if we can. I did want to turn on... Where is it? FSATC Chapter. And European region. There we go. Okay, here we are inside this Java. We've got a lovely co-pilot. We don't have any passengers. Now, I've seen people have passengers in this. I'm not entirely sure how they did that. Yeah. They did it somehow. I tried messing around. Sometimes it's the weight options, but that didn't seem to make any difference. Sometimes it is things on the tablet, but I didn't really notice much of anything there either. So we'll just go with it as we can go. You can hear these seatbelts being clipped in. Those are sounds from FS Realistic, which at some point I'm sure we're probably going to get a toilet flushing, which is not quite as realistic for a helicopter without a toilet. So let's have a look. Oh no, it's disabled. Good for them. They actually have, in their new versions, they have profiles for pretty much all of the popular planes. Rumpo is watching on a big television and chatting from his phone. Yep, that's the way to do it. I hope you have a beverage. Welcome, Sam. Hope you have a beverage too. That's probably a coffee or something. A little early for drinking for you, I believe. So yeah, let's see if we can get this puppy going. First of all, I think it's actually kind of neat that we have... oh, I don't actually want to open up a little nav map. That's what you see on the stream, though. I do have an Navigraph on here, which we're not really going to need charts. We are flying VFR, and I did this earlier. I really wish those things would remember stuff. We'll bring up the autopilot. First of all, we'll connect some ground power. That is always helpful. And then we'll leave this autopilot thing on here in case we need any assistance with it. So let's see. The first thing we want to do, all the interesting switches are up here. And I'm just going to see. Let's see. We'll turn on the battery. That's going to get the test program started. It still bothers me that the circle, the compass, whatever, the heading circle is not circular in this helicopter. I don't know if that's the way it really is. I assume so. But whoever did that is in my bad books. So we're going to let this power up for a second while I look over my checklist as to what to do next. So we are sitting at Lima Foxtrot Mike Delta, and we are flying to we're going to fly right past Nice, and we're landing actually at a helipad. Lima November Mike Charlie, the Monaco heliport. And this is add-on scenery that I downloaded from flightsim.to. So we'll see how that turns out. It's going to be landing on a pretty small place, and it's very easy to land a helicopter on a big airfield because there's lots of room. But we'll see. We also have floats on the rails here. You can see near the end of them. So as we are going to be flying over water, we will leave those armed just in case something goes terribly wrong and we have to land in the water. You can actually do that with this helicopter. Okay, avionics and standby battery coming on. Prime pumps for the fuel. Those are sitting right there, on and on. And I'm going to turn some lights on. Anti-collision lights and position lights. And we're now in a position to start the engines. This thing has 2 engines, so we're going to fire up the second engine first. We do that with a tiny little switch down there.
Clear prop.
Oh, well, that's not. Come on, FS Realistic. Do you yell that on a helicopter? That's definitely not the right sound. Junktown saying use the floats. I gotta turn that sound off. FS realistic. That is not a very good... First of all, I gotta find my mouse cursor. Let's see. Engine start. Yeah, we probably don't need that. We'll just leave that up. We'll also turn off the clear prop preview because, again, great for prop planes, not so much for the helicopter. So, engine 2 is spinning up nicely. We can turn the pitot heat on for the second pitot B. There we go. And we'll go start up engine number 1. We'll leave the float armed just in case. I might actually try it at the end. We'll see. I have no idea, truthfully, how long these flights are. So this first one we're going to fly. And then after that I would like to do 2 more. And it's more about the destination than the actual where we take off. So we'll just find a place nearby depending on how much time we've spent. And it's very likely that if we have time at the end, we will go try out the floats, because the emergency flotation system is right here on the tablet, and it does say it is armed, and I could click deploy, but I have a feeling if I do it now, we are not going to be able to undo that. And, okay, that's down. Good. Collective is down. Alright. That's engine number 1, sounding pretty good. Got the pitos on for that. We will turn on a couple more things here. The floats will leave armed. We'll turn on the laughs. And we'll get the autopilots turned on, those 3 buttons that say off. Backup, AP1 and AP2. Get those turned on. We can bring up the map. Right here. So this gives us some indication of roughly where we're flying. Looks like it's only 22 miles. So, and we'll take the scenic route. We'll fly along the coastline, and we'll just see how it goes. Okay, our warning messages here. Everything's good. Engine 1 and 2 are in idle. We know that. The EPU is still connected. Aft and forward fuel pumps and the prime fuel pumps are showing up. So we're going to switch those over. Get the transfer pumps on, prime pumps off. Now the only sort of alerts that we have there is that the engines are still in idle and the EPU is still connected. So we can move both engines into the flight position, guard them. We can then disconnect the EPU. Don't need it anymore. And we should turn on, we'll turn on our strobes and the landing lights. Might as well turn on the emergency lights. We'll arm those and we'll get the seatbelts turned on. It's not really seatbelts. I'm not sure what that is actually, but I'm using it as if it were the seatbelts. And that's the end of my checklist, which means that that is all I know about what to do with this helicopter, beyond actually flying it a little bit. Landing lights are showing up. I guess we don't need them. It's a bright day. Nobody cares. We're not moving that fast. One thing that I would like to do is, that's kind of cool, we're going to move the engine display over here, and we will put up a map on the center one, because it actually has a pretty good map. With terrain, as you can see, it's all red, which basically means that everything around us right now is much too close to the helicopter for its liking, which is somewhat understandable considering we are just sitting on the ground. So, I'm going to be looking a lot at this upper panel here for the autopilot modes that are inhibited while on the ground, but once we go up we can switch to different modes, and I was playing around with them, and they work a fair bit different from from airplanes, so that's going to take a little bit of adjusting. The nice thing about that is it does have a hover mode, which we're pretty much instantly going to engage as soon as I provide a little bit of collective here to get us up off the ground. We're going to turn on hover mode, which will keep us from spinning around. And Then we'll get a little bit of altitude. We'll have a look around and see where we're at. So, are you ready? I'm not actually. Ha! I need to finish completing my flight tracking. Cruise altitude. We're not going to cruise at more than 2,500 feet. Arrival airport was not found. Oh, well. Then I guess we're not going to do that then. Okay. Let's see what happens. I'm going to pull on this collective a little bit. It's good to know that the ambulance is pre-programmed in on this radio back here. They're ready for us. Oh, that's one thing actually. I do need to do one thing real quick here in my spad.next, which I've shown you guys all before. I need to copy over this button. To this button. There we go, much better. Now I can, from my joystick, I can pause my head tracking very easily, which is good, because if I want to just point out the window, I can just do that. So, away we go. Yeah, I think we're good. So let's go. A little bit of collective. And we start spinning to the left immediately because of the rotor thing. You can see the autopilot modes are now there, so I'm going to engage hover mode. Automatic hover. And you can see, well, you can't see, but you'll have to trust me when I tell you that I have nothing on my controls. What does that sound? I feel like that's FS realistic. We'll see if I was right or not. Seems like it. Okay. This is looking pretty good. Let's have a look outside. Oh, holy cow, look at that cruise ship behind us there. Alright, well, we know where we're going. We're going to buzz that cruise ship first. And another one over there. Very nice. Just going to tune into some radio, and I don't mean music, I mean ETC.
KLM 174 out of 30, descending level 260.
Goedemorgen, KLM 174, Potato active, runway will be 18 right, high speed please, more than 310 knots.
High speed it is, and to active for the
So,
18 right, KLM 174.
what screen does that actually show on? There we go. This is interesting. This is the beep trims, the collective beep trim and the cyclic beep trim. What's nice about that is you kind of see what I'm doing, but I'm actually doing that on the joystick, so I can easily rotate with just a hat switch, basically, which is quite nice. So this is really the way to fly this thing, where you can go nice and slow, have a look around. Use the floats to land in the pool to land in the pool of the cruise ship. I think you think I'm way better at this than I am. So let's see, I'm pitching forward, which should make us go fly over that way, and then I think because I still have hover, okay, so hover, I pitched too much, which means that hover mode disengaged. It is now instead in ground speed hold. But I can always switch it back to hover mode.
KLM 452, Potato active, expect runway 18 right, and your speed to 60.
Okay, 18 right.
They have some tennis courts.
Then we might be slightly high, 5 miles per hour, KLM 452.
So I'm going to actually, should I? I guess I have to leave that tablet up there so I can see the autopilot mode.
Yeah, sorry, I heard it. Thank you.
I can turn on altitude mode, which is going to keep us where we are. But there's also cruise height, and I can do V-speeds. Anyways, there are other ways to do things with this autopilot. We'll figure it all out as we go. I think what I really want to do is I want to turn on cruise altitude, which is a weird thing where I can tell it, okay, I want to be, let's say, 300 feet above the ground. So it will climb up to that, and it's supposed to stay with that. Oh, I hit the wrong one. Okay, so that ground speed hold will keep the speed, and it will keep us from turning around like crazy, which I had that issue with it last time. I think I spent the entire 2 hours of the stream flying with basically left rudder pressure down this whole time. So let's just fly along this coastline, and I think I should now be able to pitch. It should try to follow, it should keep the cruise height. Should. We'll see if it does. Oh, that one has a pool. I hope you didn't see that, Junktown. I have a feeling that there will be more cruise ships in Monaco, right? Seems like a... So let's increase the altitude a little bit, the cruise height here, because we are flying pretty low.
Scale 26 Mike, increase, sorry, maintain speed 300 knots.
So it is now, it's actually doing a pretty decent job. Looks like the elevation here changes a bit, so it's gonna, yep, we're gonna go up a bit. So it's trying to keep that number there that's currently saying 350. It's trying to keep that at about 400. I think I set it to 400. So it's trying to keep us 400 feet off the ground, which is not the easiest thing to do, especially with this terrain here. But this is why helicopters are great in Flight Simulator, because you can just look at the scenery like...
Descent level 200 and speed 250.
Descent level 200 and speed 250, Scale 827.
Descent 271, fly heading 220.
Heading 220, Scale 827.
See, this one's got fully modeled boats in the marina. Some of the marinas, you can see that this has gotten some love in a world update or something, because many of them are just the GPS satellite imagery. But this one has got actual model boats. Very cool. Let's see, I can actually engage heading mode. I can engage indicated airspeed mode. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's on the left. I was looking for that number. Let's see, we probably don't need to travel at more than 70-ish. This is a pretty decent speed. But now I'm essentially in full autopilot mode. I have got cruise height enabled. I have got speed enabled. So I'm basically saying 500 feet above ground, 80 knots. And follow a heading, which I can just turn now. And this is what I was really missing the last time that Rumpel might remember. I was flying around Niagara Falls from Toronto. It was a lot more of a struggle. This is the way to do it for sightseeing flights. And this is all not very far. I can already see, I can't quite see Monaco, but ahead of us is Nice, I think, isn't it? Or is that not quite yet? No, sorry, this is Oh, there's a hydro base. There's another helipad.
581, good Volanta level 330.
330, 581.
So Nice is just on the other side of this little inlet, or whatever you want to call it. I do promise I will use the floats. I can't promise a pool, but I will use them in the water. Even though I feel much more confident about actually being able to land in a pool, now that I've figured out how to use hover mode.
Heading 210, Kelly 201.
By the way, for anybody that is intimidated with anything in Flight Simulator, whether it's a new plane, a different plane, a helicopter, something that you're like not familiar with how it works, all I gotta say is there's an answer on YouTube for everything. And most of it is quite well done. And that's all I did this morning. I watched 2 YouTube videos by a wonderful British chap, whose name I can't remember, unfortunately. One was around how to start up this helicopter, so talked all about the switches, and there's a bunch of stuff that has been simplified since I last flew this, so it was actually nice and easy. And then the other one explained a little bit about the autopilot modes, which really helped get to the point that I'm at here now, where I can actually fly this. So what's directly ahead of us here is, I don't believe is actually in the sim. No, it's not in the sim, at least not on the map down there, but it is on Volanta, and that is actually there's a seaplane base here, one of those. You can see this is not a handcrafted marina, this is just a satellite image. And the dead giveaway is that all the boats are underwater. Well, at least they seem like it. I do want to fly over to that, looks like an old castle there of some kind. And now the helicopter is adding some more collective to get us up a bit, because the radar altimeter has dropped a bit below 500, which I've commanded. So that's really sweet. Oh, actually, this is great. I can't wait. I cannot wait to fly the helicopter more. Main reason I didn't do it much before is because I found it a bit too. I was just not familiar enough with it. And see, this is great. Now I can look out the window here. Amazing. Lovely. All right, let's keep hugging the coast. I could also turn nav mode on, in which case it would just follow that line on our map there, but heading is more fun because we can check out some of these cool buildings. We're gonna fly over the city here because there's some pretty nifty looking architecture. I think I need to do like a Grand Canyon tour with this helicopter at some point soon, because I think they updated the Grand Canyon quite a bit in the latest world update. I do love the detail on some of these. Yeah, it really makes it, you know, it's pretty obvious you're somewhere in old Europe. Some old bastion here on the... I wonder if I turned... I have a mod that I use for tiny... It's called tiny plates, nameplates, which is for other airplanes, so they don't take up a giant amount of screen space. I don't like having points of interest markers turned on because they clutter up the scenery. I wish that there was a mod, and maybe there is, that makes them look a little bit less obnoxious. Like they're big blue markers, and it looks like some Google map thing threw up in the game. I would much rather have a small indicator with a name. That would be much nicer. So over there, we can actually see, that's Nice airport, and Monaco is just around that on the other side a bit, so... That's pretty good. So we're probably looking at about a 45-minute first flight, and that of course took a little bit to get going. We'll get going much more quickly on the next one.
Kilometer 74, speed out to 50 and descent lock on 70.
Speed 50 and down level 70, KLM 174.
And with the autopilot engaged, you can also just jump outside and get some really nice views like this.
Cafe 271, Hotel with Ecuador descent please, at least 2000 feet a minute.
2000 feet a minute, Cafe 271. Goedemorgen, België 5,5, pak line op level 130 Evelyn.
Goedendag, 5,5, climb vol 250.
Climb level 250, België 5,5.
I hardly even need to use the joystick at all. I can just swing us around with heading mode, and it's actually doing a really good job. Now, this is the stable release, which is actually a couple months old. They are, I believe, very close to releasing a new stable version. There's been a few dev versions, but I wasn't brave enough today to try that. And they've also got a new expansion pack which adds a emergency vehicle variant of this helicopter, including a bunch of missions. So if you literally wanted to play, you know, the helicopter that has to airlift some lost hikers or something like that, you'll be able to do that with this. It's got a winch, it's got a guy on the winch that you can lower down. So no doubt I think we're going to have to try that in a future stream very soon. I almost bought that pack today, but then decided not to because I just wasn't sure, you know, how well this was going to turn out. And I was like, if I'm not having a great experience with this, then I don't want to get into it. Biggest challenge I have with controlling the helicopter is dealing with the collective and getting the power right and the altitude and stuff. But I think I figured that out now. This cruise height mode is amazing for that. So this is the Nice airport. What's that message for? Oh, set course message. Okay, yeah. We're just going to fly straight over it, which I'm sure ATC would just absolutely scream about us. Well, we won't actually cross the runway, but we'll just fly over the... This is clearly one of the airports that they updated at some point, because it looks quite well done. Lots of solar panels there, that's nice to see. Very, very cool.
Kelly 271, could you confirm routing after ATIP?
After ATIP, fly to Sierra Papa Lima.
Feedback at Sierra Papa Lima, Kelly 271.
Not sure I trust the cruise height to automatically take us up that hillside over there if I were to go against fly near it. I think it will do it if you go slow enough, but I mean it's kind of like cruise control in a vehicle. It has some smarts, but it can't see as far ahead as you can. But it certainly is good enough to let us jump outside here and have a look at this classic old buildings by this beachfront here.
Volanta 7,5 uit Birmingham.
28 months in a row for Rumpo plays.
KLM 536 after active Sierra Papa Lima descent level 70.
Active Schiphol, send to 70, KLM 536.
Cafe 271, call approach, Roman 9, 055.
Roman 9, 055, Cafe 271,
Head out into the water a little bit here to avoid those hills.
KLM 567, pass 295, descending 260 target.
KLM 567, consider active expect 18 right.
Active 18 right, KLM 567.
Oh, Rumpo, the Redeem picked the next departure on Shack Air. Okay. Curious if you have a specific one in mind, or if you just have a theme in mind. By the way, if you have a 10,000 Shack points burning a hole in your pocket, you can pick our next departure or flight. Northwest. Oh, you want me to take you fishing, right? In a helicopter?
Speed to 60 and whatever, KLM 8 Juliet.
This is a beautiful little bay. Look at that. I don't know if how well it comes across, but the water actually looks like it's slowly waving into the beaches. That's where the first map of the Angler is based on. Oh yeah, you want to have a look at it before you start playing that fishing game. All right, yes. For you, those of you that don't know what the Angler is all about, I believe there's a brand new article on Shacknews about it. And I know it is very much down Rumpo's alley. And I told him if I can fly him there, he can go fishing. I'll fly him there. He can go fishing. So I guess that's what I'll be doing. There you go. There's like rushy interview. Northwest Wyoming. Okay, I'll have to look around that.
Leveling off 260, okay, 567.
Rushy's the nickname of the game director. Okay. Look at the helicopter getting up over this terrain here. Look at that. I did nothing. I'm sure it didn't maintain the full 500 feet, but it was pretty close. So Monaco is around the next big hill there. Look at the cliffside. This is so cool. I mean, some of it looks a little bit broken there in the generation of the map, but the textures. But I feel like you can really get the sense of how beautiful this area would be if you had a lot of money in a boat. If I had a lot of money in a boat, this is where I would be. The Mediterranean. Pretty much, I would just live here. So yeah, we will find a great place in Northwest Wyoming for Rumpo to have a look and scope out the territory in which he will be fishing in the Angler very soon. What's the release date for the Angler? Is that a thing that you probably told me and I forgot? This year. Okay. Excellent.
Speed to 70. Inbound Monaco for the non-stop bus side.
This just looks so good. I am just going to sit here and take screenshots. There are train tracks there. I'm quite sure that that's train tracks there.
Removers of Avia 77 X-ray passing flight level 84, climbing flight level 130.
Transavia 77 X-ray, climb level 250.
Climbing flight level 250, Transavia 77 X-ray.
So one thing I'm curious about, can I reduce the speed? And is it going to slow down? Yes, it is. So there is Monaco. So we're actually going to slow way down on the speed here.
Kilometer Zulu, descent level 130.
Yeah, I need to potentially have a quick look on my map over here. I'm using Volanta, which is a great free app. Okay, so the heliport should be right around there somewhere. It should be on this side by the water. I think it's down here. There it is, actually. Yes, I can see it. Oh boy, that's small. That is not a large place to land on.
Kilometer Judith, increase speed please, 280 knots.
Speed ready, kilometer Judith.
Slowly lowering our cruise height here. So it's right over there. Right here. That is the helipad. I feel like the site of the Grand Prix, I don't know if it's on this side or if it's on the other side. I think it's over on the far side. But okay, so okay, it's actually not as small as I feared. There seem to be several landing spots there. So let's see if I can get us back into hover mode. There we go, hover mode, and we're going to reduce our cruise altitude all the way down to 300. And it should just kind of slow us down slowly as it is trying to make us hover. I'll help it out a little bit by turning us around. And this ability to be able to fine-tune it with the trim is amazing. Like, I'm pretty much lined up and we're basically completely stationary. Much more stationary than I could possibly do by hand. So, and I think I can also use the trim to, oh no, that's up and down. Okay, so I don't have that quite assigned right. I can, however, pitch us ever so gently to get us moving forward, or I suppose alternatively, yeah, no, I think I'll just pitch us a little bit.
KLM 28 kilo, contact van Monaco 055.
Monaco 055, KLM.
So there's definitely some give on these modes. It has now switched us over to ground speed mode because we're moving too much, but that's okay. I'll switch us back to hover mode here. And we can make very small adjustments once we have come to actual hover here. Now, I wish my joystick had 2 hat switches on it. That's one thing I actually really wish it had. because that would make it a lot easier to... Right now I have... See, there's these. I need to push this one to move forward a little. What I could do...
Descent level 70.
Heading 235, flight level 70, energy.
Well, I can quite easily actually change our cruise height here. Let's go down to 150. With this? Yes, I can. I can just adjust it with this. Okay, so that's actually good. I can stop doing that. Because I can control cruise altitude. I don't need to do the trims for that. That's a redundant thing. Okay.
Reduce your speed to 70 knots.
Speed 70, scale altitude.
I'm going to check something real quick while we hover here. The beauty of being able to hover here is that we can just hover here. So I'm going to go into my aircraft folder and just have a quick look at the config tool. This is actually really nice that they've included this app. So I want, instead of cruise height up and down, I want these... Oh, maybe that's because we're in that mode. That might be because we're in that mode. What does this actually do? Does this actually move me forward? It does. Okay, so that's the one I want. GTCH. So it is the cyclic beep trim up. This is collective cyclic control, beep trim up and down, elevator trim up down. Those are the controls I want to set in the sim. I'm going to do that very quickly and hope that it doesn't completely freak out, because the last time I did this, you come back and it's like upside down. So I'm going to remove this. Remove this. And it was the elevator trim. Up and down, elevator trim, up, elevator trim, down, save, return, resume, hope nothing. Oh, yeah, see, it did kind of freak out for a moment there. I don't know why it does that. That seems like a concern with this helicopter. I don't know. So anyways, we are very close to being able to land here. We're just going to pull forward a little. There's the heliport de Monaco. Monaco Air. Let's try to land on this pad to our right here, the one that actually extends out to the water a little bit. So let's see. We can turn. We can yaw. I can move. Oh, I've got it backwards. Bummer. Wait for it to settle down a little bit. We shall turn. Get ourselves kind of lined up with this. I could also move to the side, but again, I wish I had more... I really need 2 hat switches on this, because this does require 2 hat switches. So that means now I have to start looking for a joystick that has 2 hat switches just for this helicopter. At the same time, we can also take it down a notch. Okay, I think I'm going to...
KLM 3 for Zulu, descent level 100.
To the fly 100,
No, okay, I want to have the hover mode on, but I do want to turn that off. Okay, so now I have collective control, which means that I can slowly take us down. Not that quickly. forward a bit more. That might have been too much.
Canada H1 Juliet, direct to Omelo.
Omelo direct, dank u wel, H1 Juliet.
Tell you what, this is a bit of a tricky way to land because can't really see much. I feel like we're off too far to the left, aren't we? Yeah, we are. So let's turn.
Goedemorgen, level 2, level 2, 60 with speed 250.
Level 3 naar toe, to Atip, expect 18 right.
Autopilot Modes, level 2.
Okay, this stuff is way more sensitive than it feels like it should be. Hey, Axeman. Yeah, I mean, you could jump at this point and probably only hurt yourself a little. Pull up? No, we don't want to pull up. We're landing.
Flight Atip, then Sierra Papa Lima.
This looks alright.
Atip, Sierra Papa Lima, Kilometer Juliet.
This looks alright. Might be a little bit far back, but tiny beep forward. Beep, beep. There we go. And the autopilot modes turn off, which means at this point I kind of need to provide the counter trim to not keep turning, because we're too low to the ground, so the autopilot modes disengage. But we are on the ground now. Let's see. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's not a bad landing here in Monaco. So, let's see if I can also shut this guy down. Lights off. Guards open. Engines to idle. We can turn that off. Turn this off. Lights are off. Engine. Let's turn one engine off. Two engines off.
Kilo 4 Alpha, make it direct to Atip now.
Direct Atip, Kilo 4 Alpha.
Country unlocked. You visited Monaco for the first time. Success. It works. The helicopters can take me places the planes cannot. I could have totally landed in that pool. You're absolutely right. I didn't know that, though. I didn't believe. I do believe now. And perhaps on the next one, we'll do that. So, okay. That's this flight done. Let's fire up the next one. Now, I don't know exactly where this is coming from or where it's going. Well, I know where it's going. I don't know where it's coming from. So we're going to go figure it out. And that took us 1 hour, so we'll make this next one a little bit shorter in distance. And we're also, there's a little bit less experimenting now. I've got a bit more of an idea of what I'm doing. So, there are a couple of countries on my list that I would like to visit today. One of them is Vatican City, and the other one is Andorra. And that is near here. It is a small city-state, I guess you would call it. I think it's basically, it's very similar to Monaco in that way. So it is, Barcelona is down here. There's Andorra. It's right here. So this is actually its own country. This is going to be a little bit of a different flight because this is very much in the mountains. Les Sous Seu de Urgell is the closest airport that we can depart from. Ooh, there's an offer. That's nice. It's so easy to spend money on this game. So we're going to depart from this airport. And we are going to fly. Now this could be a little bit tricky. I don't think the sim actually has an airport available in here, but Volanta does tell me that there are 2 heliports available here. And I'm assuming they're probably somewhere inside this town. So we're literally just going to land in this town. We'll see if we can find it. Otherwise, you know, there's a couple of... there's a soccer field here. This looks like some sort of farm field. Plenty of places to land a helicopter, I think. So we'll get that going. We're just going to start there. Can I set this as a arrival? Sure. Let's set it to the soccer field here. 16 miles, 7 minutes. It's probably going to take us a bit longer than that, but... So this is going to be a bit of a different terrain. It's not going to be flying just over the water. We've got mountains here. Let's have a look around. Oh, it's so peaceful and quiet. I love the peaceful and quiet sounds in the mountains in this game. Look at this, though. I just want to get out and grab a chair somewhere in the book, and I'm just going to stay here. Well, let's make some noise by turning on the helicopter. Helicopter, lights, this. I'm trying to see if I can bypass my checklist and just remember what I'm doing. Probably not quite there yet. We do not need the floats here, so I'm going to disarm them. Okay, I think we're at a place. Well, I guess we should wait for this to come up. Engine display over there again. Map over here. Did little nav map take you guys with me? It looks like it did. We'll leave this on here again so I can see the autopilot stuff a bit better. I'm going to skip the ground power this time. All right. Starting engine 2. Oh, it does not look like it has drawn a map for us in here, eh? Was it not able to? Flight plan. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so you can't get a flight plan, of course, to a random destination. Okay, well, that's going to be interesting. We're going to have to fly it by heading. Good thing is I have Volanta over there, which is not that different from somebody actually having like a just a GPS with an iPad or something. Autopilot's on. It's actually pretty simple startup, to be honest. Not that many things. Like so many airplanes, even this helicopter, it's all very much the same. Battery, engines, fuel, lights, heats. And that's pretty much it. Both engines can go to flight. And secured. We're ready to rock and roll. We just need to figure out which way we're going. ALV. Andorra La Vella Heliport. That's the flight we're going to do. We're currently in the Turins, or I'm butchering that name completely. But we're high in the mountains. We're going to fly at, what direction is this? Let's call it 15 degrees. Let's call it a heading of 15 degrees. And we'll just adjust as we go. Okay, I think we are ready to rock and roll. Lights are on. Lights are on, yep. Here we go. A little bit of left cyclic to not let us turn into that minivan there. There we go, and as soon as we get there we can turn hover mode so we don't have to do this anymore. And I'm literally just going to go straight into cruise height.
Autopilot fly up.
Yeah, autopilot fly up. Fly up, autopilot.
Autopilot fly up. Autopilot fly up.
And we'll go in heading mode. So, we probably need to actually look at what valleys we might want to fly through. Because I don't know if we can fly over some of these. I'm literally looking at the map, and it looks like there is a road that we can probably follow, and that road is just over there somewhere. So we're going to find ourselves a road, and then we're going to follow it. We probably want at least 500 feet underneath us here, and we're going to have to watch our speed. We'll set the speed to about 70. 75 was the speed I kind of like. Alright, here we go. Oopsie. Tune into some ATC just to pretend to be listening to somebody that wants to
descent level 100.
fish us out of the mountainside. So we're looking for a highway. Might be this one underneath us, actually. Yeah, it sure looks like it. So we're going to follow this road. It takes us into the town. And then we're going to make a left turn, go through a valley, which I think is this valley right through there. That's the way we're going to go. This is actually exciting. This is a totally different experience flying a helicopter than it was down on near Monaco. So we're going to give ourselves nice, lots and lots of room. So we've got lots of elevation changes here, and obviously mountains on either side that we want to try not to hit. Because as exciting as the emergency floats are, they're not going to do us a whole lot of good in the middle of the Prince. Yep, that's the valley on our left here that we want to go. That's where we want to go through.
Kilometer 206, maintain the speed 270.
Heading 70 kilometers.
See on the map how it's all red? That's not generally a great sign. But that also makes sense now, because earlier I was running into a limitation where the cruise height maxed out at 2,500 feet, which makes sense, because I think most of these radar altimeters, which is what this is using essentially, they don't actually go below 25 or above 2,500. So this is great. This is great. This is live weather, by the way. I'm not even cheating on the weather. It's just actually this beautiful here at the moment in France. Spain, actually. Sorry. Okay, so this I feel a little bit better now. There's still plenty of red on either side of us, but you can see the valley we're flying is turned green. So, you know, essentially telling us as long as we stick to the green areas here, we're probably not going to hit a mountain. Probably. The rotor RPMs, the cruise right autopilot part is great, but it does like to overstress the rotors, I guess, as it's trying to adjust. I don't know if that's bad for this thing or not.
California Alpha descent, level 110.
Descent 110, get on 412.
I do love that little chime sound, though. It does sound like a video game or a slot machine.
Direct speed 73, fly now heading 210.
Heading 210, Dynasty 073.
Kilometer 06, the speed 250 now.
Speed 50, kilometer 06.
And we're climbing because we're a little bit off to the side here. We're not quite inside the valley anymore, but that's all right. And now we get into the center of the valley, and it's just like, oh, you're way too high. Descend, descend. So it's actually kind of dangerous to do it this way. I think. I don't think anybody would do that in real life. But how do you know you're in Europe? You're in the middle of the mountains, and there's a roundabout. Okay, this is going to be a bit of a steep turn. Can it do it? It should. I do have my hand on the stick just in case.
Kilometer 350, descent, level 150.
Level 150, kilometer 350.
We're just going to follow this road. It's as if we're driving into Andorra. In fact, we just crossed the border. I don't know if there was something that we can see behind us. Actually, yeah, probably at that roundabout. That looks like that is where the border is between Spain and Andorra. So...
Good morning, Kellam 96 Fox.
Capture B flag, man.
260 to be level 60, Vrijdag.
96 Fox, hello, good day, expect 18 center.
Active 18 center, Kellam 9, yeah.
You know, if EA was smart, they would have made a battlefield that was just Battlefield 3 or 2 and had good old helicopters and no jets. Just had all the fun stuff in it. So we're still going through the mountains here for a bit. We're about halfway there, I would say. Look at the state of this mountain. Holy cow.
Goedemorgen, Zero Artist.
Bedankt voor Romeo, Potato Active, expect 18 center.
18 center, Fort Romeo,
Did I see EA's tweet? No. What was it about? Another roundabout. This is amazing how much detail there is in the middle of these mountains. Sim is so good.
Speed 250, KLM 4 for Romeo.
What does it say, Rumpo? I can't actually open that. I'm too far away from the mouse to be able to click on that. There we go. This is the soccer field ahead of us there that I was talking about. So we are actually going to try to find the proper heliport, though. See if we can spot it. Because the nice thing, even though it may not be modeled in the game, a lot of it is based on satellite imagery. So a lot of times you still see a heliport or even an airport that may not be in their database on the ground, because it is just you know, it's satellite imagery. So I'm going to slow down a bit. I'm down to 50 knots, 45. I can zoom in quite far on the map. It looks like it's just beside another roundabout on the other side of this river.
Transition 350 KLM, simple.
There are 10, but they only like playing single-player games. That's... yeah. I mean, if you like shooting yourself in the foot there, EA.
Kilometer 206,
I'll slowly start descending a bit here as well. I'll have a lookout, see if we can spot anything that resembles a heliport. It's still a little bit further ahead. It will be on the left side of the river, just beyond a bridge with a roundabout. Oh, I think I see it. Okay, so I see a roundabout right here with a bridge, and the heliport should be right about there, or over here maybe. This is promising. This is looking promising. Let's keep going down, and let's slow down some more as well.
Speed 250.
Speed 50 on 412, huh?
I basically want to be in a position where I can very quickly engage hover mode without having to overshoot too much. I'm quite sure that that is the... It's amazing how accurate the roads are compared to the map that I'm looking at. I can absolutely navigate using Volanta's map, which is based on the OpenStreetMaps. So there's the roundabout. There's a soccer field if I can't actually spot the... If I can't spot the... Okay, that's as slow as we can go in this mode. Oh, okay, I see it. It's right over here, but it's at the side of a mountain, essentially, so that's not going to work. So we're going to land in this field. Let's hop outside here for a second. So that is the one problem with the satellite imagery. You know, you can see, I mean, it's covered a bit by this strange building here. You can see the circle with the H in it. It's right over here on the edge. But it is at like a 45-degree angle, so there's no way we're going to land there. We're going to land inside this soccer field right here beside the river instead. Which seems more than fair. Look at that, it's painted. This is very cool.
250 KLM 1351.
Perfect. This is going to take us to the half-hour mark, which means at that point we can then head over and fly from Rome to Vatican City, somewhere, which should be good. It should just basically be a lot of sightseeing in Rome, and then we will find ourselves maybe there's, I don't know, does Vatican City have any pools? Fountains, probably. Maybe we can land in a fountain. We'll probably have to find ourselves an actual lake of some kind, though. So there is our soccer field that we are interested in today. Soccer field, sports field, whatever it is.
KLM 44 on Romeo, standing by board.
With Romeo, descent to level 160.
160, KLM 44 Romeo.
go away because it actually take up a bit of my view here. This is going to be easy by comparison to the Monaco landing.
100 feet.
KLM 96 Fox, descent level 170.
Descent level 170, KLM 96 Fox.
KLM 745, descent level 180.
So 74 limit at plus 180.
Did I accidentally get out of the hover mode? Is that what's happening here?
Bottrop 1853 dan ground.
Well, I'm still in hover mode, but it's being
Lima ook goed, 1853.
really, really cranky with me.
Goedemorgen, Transavia 7 Victor passing 30 climbing flight level 130.
Hello, Transavia 7 Victor, climb level 250.
Climb flight level 250, Transavia 7 Victor.
Dynasty 73, right R-tip and then Sierra Papa Lima.
Well, that's not really center of this thing at all, but we'll take it.
Direct to R-tip and then Sierra Papa Lima.
R-tip then Sierra Papa Lima, Dynasty 073, confirm maintain speed 250, Dynasty 073.
Paper.
Andorra unlocked. It works. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay.
KLM 4 to Alpha,
Battery
R-tip to
off.
Sierra Papa Lima.
Beautiful. One more to go. Now, Vatican City does have a heliport as well, which is amazing. So, here's Rome. Now they have their big international airport over there, but they also have, it looks like there's also a heliport that is Lima, India, Alpha, Delta. I don't know if that's going to be on here anywhere. So this part here, I believe. Oh no, sorry. This is just, yeah, that's Rome. So Vatican City is right here. This is where we want to go. We're going to land right in the square, I think, probably, which I'm sure everybody's going to just be very excited about. It does not look... It doesn't look like they have that heliport available on here. That's a shame. So I'm thinking we just go up to this airport here. And we'll depart from there. That way we can fly over some of these museums, some of the stadiums, and we can fly ourselves into Vatican City that way. And then once we've landed there, I will take off from there, and we can probably book it over to the water and try out the floats. So let's not waste any time. We'll get going here. Vatican City should be relatively easy to spot. Okay. Back in our helicopter. Another beautiful day here. Nice and quiet in the countryside, the Italian countryside, just minutes away from Rome. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. All right. Battery. Emergency lights armed. PAX lights on. Anti-collision and position lights. Avionics.
Kilometer 3, rijdt Botrop.
Botrop,
Prime
153, dank
pumps.
u wel.
Sorry,
Starting
rijdt
engine.
Lima.
Lima, ook goed, 153.
Autopilots. It's waiting, maybe I can enable some lights here on this thing.
Goedemorgen, Transavia 7 Victor passing 30 climbing, flight level 130.
Hello, Transavia 7 Victor, climb level 250.
Climb flight level 250, Transavia 7 Victor.
Let's see, right? Is it case sensitive? Is that what's not right? I don't know.
Dynasty 3, rijdt R-tip and then Sierra Papa Lima.
Direct to Sierra Papa Lima, confirm Dynasty 073.
So this is
Oh,
actually
first direct to R-tip and then Sierra Papa Lima.
Active then Sierra Papa Lima, Dynasty 073, confirm maintain speed 250, Dynasty 073.
Paper. Kilometer 06, descent level 70.
70, kilometer 06.
Vanuit attendant Schiphol.
Out of Schiphol, kilometer 06.
KLM 4 to Alpha, proceed by RTIP to Sierra Papa Lima.
RTIP Sierra Papa Lima, KLM 4 to Alpha.
Doesn't look like it has the collective mode. I'll have to check this in a moment. I want to make sure I can have a light turned on there. When I have the hover mode engaged.
Alles is oké, man, 351?
Yep, 131, direct to Lalu.
It's reasonably important to know, and I kind of like being able to collapse this panel here because it gets in the way a little bit. Okay, so let's get up off the ground and engage hover mode once we do that. Okay, now I can go back here to check this. Well, I don't see anything very obvious there, so I'll have to look into that some other time. It is not the end of the world. For now, we will go cruise height.
Autopilot flyer.
We'll go up to... let's just do 350. I don't think we need to go that high. We're not going to fly very far. And there's not too much terrain here, so we really want to be able to enjoy the sights. I'll switch my displays around again. I really wish you could save that as a default. So there I am. We want to fly. Let's see, I'm going to actually use some landmarks again. I think on our right there is should be a river right there. Yeah, there's a river. We're just going to follow that river. It will snake us right down to Vatican City. So that's what we're going to do. Go into indicated speed mode, and we will go up to, let's do a nice, let's do 60. I don't think we have to go, we're not going very far. I don't think we have to go too fast. We've got time. The flotation system is armed, so shenanigans will ensue later. So we're just going to follow this river, beautiful river.
Film 7 for Lima, reduce your speed, make it 220.
Speed 220, yeah, I'm good for Lima.
Oh, we can even see the river on the map. That's excellent. Excellent. We don't have to go very far.
Film 96 Fox, speed 220.
Speed 220, kill 96 Fox.
Oh, check out that soccer stadium over there. It's a big one. pretty detailed bridge just down here. They've definitely, some of this is definitely handcrafted. I don't think this would have been this would have been auto-generated.
Morning Air China Free 1035 descending to 60. Direct Archive.
Flight China 51035, Untitled Chapter, expect runway 18 center.
Start runway 1 center Air China Free 1035.
Oh, this is pretty cool. I have no idea what team plays here, but that's a nice looking stadium. Now let's see if it's going to climb up. It is climbing slowly up this hill, and as long as we fly slow enough, it should be fine. It should be fine. It should keep us above the treetops here, hopefully.
KLM 139, goedemorgen. Climb to level 250.
Climb level 250, KLM 139.
So I believe Vatican City is actually straight ahead there already. So we're going to do a quick landing here and see if I can get that to trigger as having visited the Holy See. And then we will continue on straight through Rome to the water. What is this? It is a tower of junk.
KLM 153, contact Langen, Monaco, decimal 5.
285, 185 feet of air.
I love the architecture here, though. Like, it looks so much like it does feel like we are actually flying over a city like Rome. It's so well done. So that's Vatican City right there. I can kind of see the red roofs and the walls. So we're gonna start slowing down some more here. Look at these streets, though.
KLM 1350, you're heading to 85.
Left heading to 85, KLM 1350.
Beautiful down here. You just don't get this experience when you're flying at 38,000 feet, which I love doing, don't get me wrong. But this is something else when you're in a helicopter.
KLM 4 Romeo, they're heading to 80.
Like there's a construction crane over there. Now I'm gonna keep an eye out for this heliport. It is on the, it's quite a bit around the side, around in that direction there. So we're gonna fly over this square, turn right. This is just gorgeous.
Hello, Singapore 324, North to arrival, expect 18 center.
Norco to Alpha arrival, runway 18 center, Singapore 324.
So this is all Vatican City. So we could technically land down here. If we can't find the heliport, we'll come back and we'll land on this square here. But we'll see if we can't find it. It's like right at the edge of the city.
Teleport to Alpha, call approach 119 055.
This looks so much like it's straight out of an Assassin's Creed game. Okay, I think I'm more or less flying in the direction that this heliport is supposed to be at. There's obviously a lot of trees, which is not great when you're looking for a place to land.
Dynasty 073, descent, flight level 70.
Descent flight level 70, Dynasty 073.
I feel like it's in the midst of all the trees, so not really accessible to us. So I'm thinking we're going to have to head back into the. It's like right in between here somewhere. There's just way too many trees in the sim for some reason. So we'll head back to the square there. We'll just land in that square.
Channel 5035, descent level 100.
Descent 100, air traffic 1025.
Singapore 324, descent level 150.
Descent flight level 150, Singapore 324.
Plymouth 1178, passing 333 for 260, inbound to RTIP level 60 before RTIP and speed 250.
Kiliman 178, maintain speed, continue RTIP 18 center.
Keep the speed and stay RTIP for 18 center, Kilo 1178.
Autopilot flyer.
I feel like I'm in a James Bond movie or something with this. Look at the detail. Holy crap.
Current 96 Foxtrot heading 220.
Heading 220, Kilo 96 Foxtrot.
Hey, Ash Raven Blue. How are you?
Kiliman 350, descent level 70.
Descent level 70, Kilo 350.
We're down. Now, let's see if I can end this flight in Volanta and have it record this. Yep, sure did. Unlocked the Vatican City. All right. So, now that we've done that, let's test out these floats. We're going to head straight to the water.
Descent level 70.
Descent 70, Kilo 4 Romeo.
The flight set is amazing. I am having a pretty relaxing time here.
Goedemorgen, KLM 1328, passing 328, descent 260.
KLM 328, goedemorgen, speed to 50.
Alright, so we want to fly pretty much
Artip 18
straight
centimeters
to the
KLM
west
1328.
ish. This looks like a good direction. Keep 500 feet of cruise altitude, and we're going to go book it because we want to get there. So we're going to go full speed, I think 100 knots, I think should get us going.
Transavia 78 Lima, passing level 80, climbing 130.
Goedemorgen, Transavia 78 Lima, climb level 250.
Flight level 250, Transavia 78 Lima.
I think 100 might be pushing it a bit. No, maybe not. This helicopter can go pretty fast, actually. It looks like there's a red line just above 140, so see if we can push it to 140 without any major issues.
KLM 74 Lima to heading 205.
Okay, left heading 205, KLM 74 Lima.
KLM 1839, direct Omelo.
Omelo direct KLM 1839, thank you.
KLM 178, descent, level 160.
Descent 160, KLM 178.
KLM 328, descent, level 170.
Descent flight level 170, KLM 1328.
KLM 1350, call approach, 19055.
19055, KLM 1350, dag meneer.
Hoi. KLM 96 Fox, heading now 205.
205, 96 Fox.
Channel 1035, reduce your speed to 80.
Speed 280 as runway 1035.
Still for Romeo, left active and then Sierra Papa Lima.
Active Sierra Papa Romeo.
Okay, so this is like the big international airport here near Rome. I'm gonna go slow down a bit here because we are getting to the Mediterranean. It's not quite as pretty here as it was in Monaco, but we'll make do. So now, I'm not entirely sure. The floats are armed. I don't know if that means that if we hit the water, they'll just pop, or if we need to deploy them ourselves, which I can do. There's a button on the EFB here on the tablet right there, but I think what I'm going to try is just touch in the water and see if they automatically deploy. I don't have damage turned on, so I don't think it's going to destroy us if we touch the water without them deploying. We'll do it inside that bay over there, that harbor.
Level 130. Level 130, Kilo 74 Lima. Moscow 30 Tango, descending 260, passing 345 to be level 60 miles per hour.
Good afternoon, 30 Tango, because it'll active expect 18 center.
Active 1 center to expect, yeah, 30 Tango. Kilometer Golf out of 360, descend 260.
8 Golf, hello, because it'll active expect 18 center.
Active 18 center, Kilometer Golf, thank you.
Actually want to get out a bit more just to make sure the sim knows it's water we're doing this in.
Kilo 4 Romeo, call approach 19055.
19055, Kilo 4 Romeo, bye-bye.
Alright, we'll get into hover mode. We are definitely above some water here. Let's take us down with the cruise as much as we can.
Kilo 4 November, climb level 130.
Kilo 4 November, climb level 250.
Level 250, Kilo 4 November.
And I'm going to take the cruise height off. So, I guess I'm going to go to the outside camera here to see, so we can see. 75 feet. 65, 60. 55, 50. Okay, so I can stop us pretty easily here.
Okay, and I'm 96 Foxtrot, call approach. 119.055. Bye.
Volanta decimal 055, KLM 96 Foxtrot.
30 feet. $25. $20.
China flight 1035, to speed now back to 250. Proceed after our tip to Sierra Papa.
15.
Director RTIP then Sierra Papa Yankee, Tanfei 1035. Sierra Papa Lima.
$10 feet, 9 feet. Aha, there they go. They did automatically engage. And in fact, I can now turn the collective all the way down. We're basically floating. Wow, look at the rotor cutting through the sun reflection.
China flight 1035, actually you can make it RTIP Sierra Papa Yankee.
After RTIP Sierra Papa Yankee, Tanfei 1035.
Past the doors. Oh, you can repack the flotation system. This is awesome. Okay, so now can I take off from here? That's the last thing I'm going to try. I'm going to shut these doors. Floats are deployed. Can I take us back up into the air?
S740 Lima, proceed to RTIP, then to Sierra Papa Yankee.
Contact flying, KLM 740 Lima.
Yeah, sure can. And then I can repack them, which of course is not quite realistic, because I'm sure you can do that in real life, but not just like that while flying in the air, while hovering. Okay, well, that's going to do it for here, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed some nice sightseeing around France, Monaco, Andorra, and Vatican City. This is a beautiful helicopter to fly. I highly, highly recommend it. From Height Performance Group, they also have a freeware version that is the H145, which is similar. That's available on flightsim.to if you don't want to shell out the money for it. It's definitely worth it. It's come a long way, and there's new updates coming soon. This is actually quite an old version, so once you figure out how to fly it properly, it's just a beauty to fly. So if you enjoyed watching, throw us a follow if you haven't done that. If you're able to, maybe even a subscription if you really enjoyed the content. Don't forget your Amazon Prime subs will really help us out, and it doesn't cost you a thing. And also, Shack Pets. If you're not aware of Shack Pets, be sure to check out shackpets.com. And watch this. I'll catch you guys again in a week from now. Take care.
Ah!